What's happening, people? It's your man J Flex the Wrestler coming at you with another video. And in tonight's topic, we're going to talk about why sexual competence is mental for men. Okay. And, I'm talking about this topic because it's kind of a sequel to a degree to when I talked about the sexual alpha. I still get DMs from people, specifically women, in terms of, when am I going to make us a part two to the sexual alpha? And and that term is not really something that I came up with. I think Rom came up with that, or either Cousin Tito. I'm not 100% sure, but both of them, they've talked about it before I have. So, but sort of universal to a degree, but I reference them because they're kind of the originals with that. But sexual competence is, simply, competence means the ability to do something, the ability to be successful in something. Okay. And a lot of men struggle with sexual competence, and it's not solely based on physicality. It's just not. A lot of adult films, porns that people need to stop watching, and I've talked about this in the first video I did, one of the first videos I did, when I said does size matter. Like, a lot of men struggle with having sexual competence because they don't have the confidence in themselves. They don't have, they lack confidence because they compare themselves to other dudes. They compare themselves to adult film stars that they see because they keep watching that kind of stuff. Look, man, the more you watch it, the more you are going to compare yourself, and you're going to have a skewed, unrealistic point of view or perspective of what, or maybe I should say perception rather, of what sex really is and what is good sex to the female, to please the female. And in a lot of cases, it is not porn. It's just not. It's a very unrealistic, it's a performance. It's even a porn star, an adult film star would tell you that, they would tell you that, look, that stuff ain't real at all. Like, it's nowhere near real, because it's not, dude. And a lot of men aren't competent because their mental game is off, because they're comparing themselves and they're saying, oh, well, that's girls like a 10-inch size penis. I'm just be real, like they're like, oh, they like a 10-inch size penis because that's what like they liked on their film, and I don't have that. And then before you know it, you can't get it up. You're suffering from ED because you're jacking off way too much. And then also because you are feeling like you're inferior and you can't perform up to snuff to that guy that you was watching all freaking night long, that you need to stop doing, and it's like you keep watching it and you're thinking that you have to be like that, and then you get insecure, and then before you know it, your mental headspace is off and you ain't gonna be able to get it up. That's why I say sexual competence is mental. It's very, very mental. It's based on confidence, having confidence, okay? And also understanding, because it's mental, when you're talking about sexual competence, you have to bring the woman into this. Whether this is a woman who, you've been seeing for a while, or, look, I don't really talk about one night stands on here like that. Although truthfully I've had them, but, I'm more so talking about when you are with a woman, you've been with them for a while or whatever, you finally start to want to have sex with them. What you have to understand is that sexual competence, it means that you are and have the ability to please a woman very well. Okay. And you can't do that unless you are in a mental headspace and you are able to get that woman aroused. And getting her aroused does not start with the physicality. Okay. Yeah, there are women who, if you have a nice body, and I talk about that a lot, having a nice body and getting in shape, getting the right type of body for women to be attracted. Yeah, that is bait for a woman. It reels them in to a degree, but also getting into their mental and their emotional, because women are very emotional humans. Okay. And getting them aroused, getting them aroused to the point to where it makes it easier for you and you're not as nervous. You're not in a wrong mental state or a headspace rather. And this is why I tell a lot of dudes, and this is what I talked about in the Sexual Alpha, he is confident in who he is as a human being. He's confident in who he is as a man. He is confident that he is competent in any area or facet of life, especially when it comes to his sexual experiences or being intimate with a woman. That is what he is confident in. And that woman can sense it very well, because this isn't a masked, a mask of confidence or fake confidence. This is true confidence that he has in himself. And he's not comparing himself to what another dude has or another dude that she's been with. He not thinking about that. He's not thinking about any of that, because he allows, and because he's sexually confident, he allows that woman to be comfortable in her own sexuality. He allows that woman to have no mask, about her sexuality. And he allows her to embrace that. And that is what a true confident man sexually is. And in result, or as a result, he has a high level of sexual competence, because he's confident he can perform, and he's confident that he can arouse her. He's confident that he can open those gates that she has. He's confident that he can open her up. Okay. No matter what dude that she's been with, because a lot of times dudes, man, are, they don't allow that woman to be sexually confident in herself or comfortable in herself or in her own sexuality. A lot of times dudes don't allow that because they are not confident in themselves. And, they're nervous beforehand, not understanding and realizing that a lot of times a woman is just as nervous, if not sometimes even more nervous before sex. Because she's probably thinking she's got to perform like a porn star or dope film star, and once you realize that she's just as nervous as you are, if not more, once you realize that, then you're able to be in a better mental headspace, because then you can make her feel more confident and comfortable with being with you. Here's how this works. Let me give you a deeper illustration without, being too left wing. But, you're with a woman and she is beautiful. I mean, she probably was your high school crush back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And you finally had the balls to ask her out. You finally was, of pretty high value to the point that she would allow you to take her out on a date or whatever. And, you finally in her bedroom. Next thing you know, you laying in her bed. Next thing you know, she barely wearing any clothes. You know what I'm saying? But you being a confident person, and you understanding your own sexuality, and that she's just a woman, she's a human, and she is just as nervous as you are, because she probably had a crush on you, for the longest time. You know what I'm saying? And she ain't no adult film star. Okay. This is real life. And with you understanding and realizing that both of you guys are nervous, that's when you have to make her feel like she's the only woman in the world. You know what I'm saying? You got to make her feel comfortable. You got to make her feel like she can just let herself loose, and you, as the man, can handle anything she gonna give to you. Anything that she's gonna open up to you, you can feel comfortable with it. And it's gonna be much easier. This can be within the foreplay, this can be within y'all touching, whatever, kissing, whatever it may be. You are allowing her to open herself up, and you are receptive to it. And it actually makes it a lot easier on you, because you're in the right mental headspace. You are in the right frame of mind. You ain't thinking about no adult film that you've been watching, because none of that matters. Like I said, all of that is crap anyways. None of that matters. This is real intimacy. Okay. And because you're in the right mental headspace, you're able to be sexually competent. And she will be very well pleased. Notice how I said nothing about the size of what you're working with. I mean, like I said, dude, just on a side note, and I talked about this in, when I talked about does size really matter, and because look, man, I'm a dude who talks about it. I'm a real dude. Okay. And when people come to my channel, they're going to hear as real as I can get, but without it being, of course, too inappropriate or whatever. I try to keep it somewhat PG, but but anyways, I talked about how in that video, if you haven't checked it out, check it out. The size really matter. It does and it doesn't, but it really doesn't matter as much as, men think it does to women. I've had conversations with, and this has to do with sexual competence in a sense, or the topic. So I'm going here for a reason, right? But anyways, I've talked to plenty of women, not just women who I've been sexually involved with in the past, but women who I've never had sex with in the past, or been involved with in any capacity sexually, right? I've had conversations with them, and yeah, the average size, manhood or penis is like 5 inches. It's 5 inches, man. Like I think 4.7 or 5. I've had conversations with women who say, honestly, and this goes across races. This ain't just, I know we all like to think all sisters and all black women want the big thing, everything like that. But I'm gonna be honest, man, I've had conversations with black women as well, all races, white, black, everything, because I'm a very diverse person. So across the board, a lot of them have said average or slightly above 5 to 6. They're very happy with that, and that's just the truth. This is like, I'm not making this up, because I go to places and talk to people, because that's just what I do. I am a storyteller / truth teller, really. I write. I'm an actor. I study human behavior. I love studying human behavior, because that's a part of acting. And so I talk to people a lot, and I talk to women a whole lot. Okay. And a lot of them tell me straight up, it ain't about the size. It's about the confidence. It's about, the how good he is in bed is about his confidence. So meaning how competent he is in bed. Okay, because we're talking about sexual competence, right? Is how confident he is. And what is confidence? Confidence is mental. Hence, that is why I said sexual competence for a man is mental. And look, like I said, man, you do have those women who because a lot of you guys probably gonna be like, man, that's BS, because women like a dude who got this and that, they've said it themselves. Yeah, there are some women who like that, but the truth of the matter is that, when especially when you're talking about, I mean, there was even a statistic that said that, specifically a man who is at this amount of inches, is higher than average, is more so going to be one night stand material. A guy who's average is going to be more long term. Why is that? Well, that's because a lot of women's perception of men that are well above average, and because I've had conversations with women about that too, with men who are well above average, 7, 8, 9, or whatever. They don't see them as, most of them, they consider them to be players. It's like a dude who has a nice body or a very attractive, handsome looking face. They consider them to be players, because they consider them to be able to get any woman that they want or whatever it may be. It's the same with size, man. And that's why size is not a direct correlation. It really is not a direct correlation to sexual competence. It just isn't, and your ability to perform very well. Yeah, and truthfully, look, let me just be real too. Truthfully, will you have some women who will say average is too small? Yeah, you will. Let's just be real. You're going to have that, right? But if you know what you're working with, you just don't deal with those kind of women, and understand that, that's not really majority of the women. So it's not, it's really not. And that's why I try to tell guys, to stop jacking off, stop so much and looking at so much porn and looking at adult films. And because what you're doing is you're not putting yourself in the right mental headspace. You're putting that junk in your mind. You are, not really in reality, because again, I'm not gonna name any names, but I know I've met a couple, adult film stars who would tell you, they're like, dude, this is not nowhere near real. You know what I'm saying? And, but this is the truth of the matter, so like I said, I know I kind of said a lot, but sexual competence is not based truly on physicality, man. It's really a mental thing. And when you get to a point to where any woman who you are with, you allow her to, the key things are being confident in yourself and what you have to offer as a man in all aspects of your life, and also allowing that woman to be free in her sexuality. And because it makes her more aroused when you allow that, and you are not judgmental or shameful of her, or worrying about who she's been with in the past or whatever it may be, because you come across as confident. And when you come across as confident, that already arouses her, and it makes it easier for you to perform, because you're allowing her to let go of her sexual inhibitions, any that she has. You're allowing her to be free, as the term may be, right? So, that's really how and really where sexual competence lies and comes from. So anyways, people, hope this made sense to you guys, just my perspective. And hopefully this helps, and yeah, man, like I always say, man, it's your man J Flex the Wrestler. with another video, and I'm out. Peace.